All right, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everyone, to the Briones Pickleball Podcast. Special guest today, super special guest. When someone comes in the studio, I really appreciate that, and it just shows me a little bit more about him. And Mari Humberg.
Is that the little clapping thing? Does it make a sound?
No, I just do it organically. I don't like the digital stuff anymore.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I like it.
But Mari, I think I had my team or something Instagram you.
Yeah.
And then I said, hey, I know you guys were going to be here for Mesa, and you gladly accepted, and I just want to say I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. I told him this, and I'll tell the audience as well.
Sure.
So every time I get a request for a podcast, obviously I'm a pro player. I don't usually go out and try to search for content for myself. I typically study games and stuff, but my friends that play at the amateur level really love content. Yeah. And they spoke so highly of you, and they were so excited about the opportunity of me talking to you. So I was like, all right, guys, I'll go. And here we are.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, so Mari and I just got off the court. Be on the lookout for that. We have some cool content to come out. Thank you for sharing your knowledge there.
Absolutely.
And, I purposely and kind of not purposely, Mari, I did not do a ton of background research on you. Because I kind of like to get to know people organically in person. So I don't know a bunch. I know you have a tennis background, and you said you're from Brazil originally. I don't know, just be good to get to know you a little bit, how you got in the game, and just like where you are now as playing pro pickleball.
Gotcha. I'll do a quick intro here. So first of all, I'm like a very American sounding Brazilian, right? That's what a lot of people, when they meet me, they're like, you're not from Brazil. Well, I am. I just moved back and forth in my childhood because of my dad's job. So I learned English at a very young age. I actually was in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and Franklin, Tennessee. So that's where I was for a while.
Oh, okay.
And then I moved back to Brazil when I was 11, and my family has been there ever since. So my entire family's in São Paulo. For those that do know Brazil or have been there before, it's the fourth most populated city in the world.
Okay.
And yeah, so a lot of people there. And
in the world, not Brazil.
No, in the world.
Really? Okay. All right.
Geography. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a tough one.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people. I think about 20 million in the in the surrounding areas too. So just a lot, and a lot of tall buildings and stuff. But it's never something that I loved. So I personally always had the plan back to come to the U.S. And I had already started playing tennis, so I started at a very young age. Mom and dad both played. So easy.
How high level did they play, or just recreational?
They say they were probably better than they were. I don't have anything to prove it. Hopefully they don't listen to this. But I bet mom was better than dad because she's more competitive than him. Okay. Again, hopefully they don't listen. We'll see how this goes. But they were pretty good. My dad actually still plays a ton.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he plays like 3-4 times a week.
Awesome.
And mom claims that I'm only the best pickleball player in the family because she doesn't play yet. So
I guess we'll never find out.
I mean, she doesn't start. We will never know. Yeah. I guess we'll have to wait on that. But yeah, so mom and dad were both athletes. And then I have a brother too, and he is very athletic as well. We were just like a sports family growing up.
Awesome.
And yeah, so I moved back for college tennis when I was 18.
And where did you play?
I started my career at Winthrop University in South Carolina. Do you know where?
You know what?
Heard of Winthrop?
I don't know a ton of. I'm not in the college scene, so
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
you're gonna have to refresh me.
Yeah, so Winthrop University actually, it was a Brazilian tennis coach there, and that was important to me just because of like the cultural differences and moving over 4,000 miles away from my family. So that was really nice to have. So I started my career there. Played for 2 years. It's right next to Charlotte, North Carolina. It was a really good spot. I liked it there.
Got it.
But then I transferred my junior year to the University of Louisville. The people from Louisville will appreciate me saying it properly.
Wow. I
you
was
gotta,
like,
you
wow.
sound
Is
like you
that
have bread in your mouth.
That does not sound Brazilian at all. Okay.
Yeah, so I finished my career there. And then at the end of my college tennis career, I had already found a job. I worked at a wonderful company for 6 years called eltoro.com. I started as an intern.
Wait, what is El Toro?
Not a Mexican restaurant. That's always the first question we get.
Yeah. No, I've seen that logo. Is it have to do with machinery or something? No?
No.
What is El Toro?
Advertising technology.
Oh, okay. So I'm way off.
No, you're
way
good.
Off.
We
All
actually, so I worked in a very specialized industry for a long time. I got my degree in econ, but I worked in advertising technology, started there as an intern, and actually ended my career as a VP of the company. So,
oh, wow.
did a lot of growth there. I mean, it was the only company that I ever worked for in my adult career. And I loved it. I truly did. And those were the guys that actually introduced me to pickleball. I told them it was a sport for old people, all the stuff that everyone says. I couldn't really do it until I go out to a park because another friend invited me, and I get beat by some ladies.
You know what? And that's a common story, okay? With like a lot of us tennis players. Now, I didn't play college tennis, but I played a lot. But that being said, my question is, what level were those ladies? Like, do you think
4.5s, 5.0s?
Okay,
to
so
that?
they weren't 3.5s. They were good.
Gosh, if I lose to 3.5s, I probably would have ran away from the park.
Okay,
I lost to some pretty decent ladies.
Okay, so 4.5, 5.0. All right.
So then, I lost a couple of games there, and I was like, this sport sucks. You know, like I'm terrible, and I can't believe that I played tennis for 20 years and I'm losing out here. So I immediately caught the bug then, and I was training for a marathon at the time, and I basically just stopped training for the marathon.
Wow. Okay.
And started playing pickleball and ran the marathon on pickleball training. So.
Wow.
Yeah. There you go. That's my quick
okay.
pickleball story for you. But yeah, I stopped playing tennis in 18 and started playing pickleball in late 23.
So you are literally
23? Late 22.
Okay. So you're over two and okay, you're a little bit over 2.5 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, Mari, you've been on MLP, playing PPAs. What's different about, I guess, competing in the kind of college like system and stuff, and like competing now, meeting with playing with the pros, traveling? Like, do you love it? How is it? I know you pretty much got not thrown in, but I don't even know where it started. Like, when did it click for you? Like, oh, I'm gonna do a pro event. I'm gonna try that.
Right.
Or was it just like recruitment? Like, how did that happen?
So, fun fact: I actually signed up for my first pro event 3 months after I started playing.
Okay.
And I played
APP.
It was a PPA.
Oh, PPA.
It was PPA Orlando, December 2022. I won my first round in singles, and my second round was against Annalie Waters on center court.
Anna Lee, I've heard of her.
Yeah, I think she's pretty decent. And so I got beat pretty bad, but I was like, that's cool. I got to play against the number one player in the world in a sport, and I'd never gotten to do this. So that was just a great experience to like kind of even want to play even more. But I was still working at the time, so I essentially would just like take my days off and go play tournaments. And El Toro was super supportive. They were actually my first pickleball sponsor.
Wow.
Well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were super supportive. They would like allow me to go to the tournaments, and I was playing just whatever I could at the time to get some experience. But what people don't tell you about the pro world is that it's very tricky to find partners if you're not well connected. And the events that I care about the most are the doubles events. So I love women's doubles and I love mixed doubles. And if you don't have partners of your level, it's very difficult to kind of break through. Right. Yeah. When, correct. But it's very tricky because in this sport, it's really easy to target just one person, right? So if there's a really big discrepancy in level between two players, so you have to kind of get that lucky break, which mine was in 2023 with Georgia Johnson when she gave me the opportunity to play with her, and I medaled in a PPA. That's when, for the first time, a lot of PPA players were like, whoa, who is she? Maybe I should start playing some with her. So kind of opened up a lot of doors for me there. But I was fortunate that I got that somewhat early in my career. A lot of people take a lot longer to get that break.
Yeah, sure. So you played with Georgia. It was a PPA. What did you get? Silver, bronze, you said?
Bronze.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then is that how, obviously I'm not playing on the pro tour right now, but is that how it happens? And then like right after that, you get messages and like, hey, can I partner up with you?
I got Georgia for quite a few tournaments last year after that, and we get along really well too. So that was great. And then I got drafted for MLP, and that was fun. And you asked, what's the differences between them? Going back to your question here, full circle. But I think MLP is a lot closer to the experience of college tennis, right? The rowdiness, the noise, the having teammates thing, the matching thing. I think there's a lot of, I think for us college tennis players, that's like the most fun thing because you get to kind of live those glory days again of, you know, representing something that's bigger than you, I feel like is really valuable. And in the PPA, you're competing for yourself, which is also awesome. And you get all the glory, but it can be lonely sometimes. You know, we travel a lot. I mean, we're playing tons of tournaments throughout the year, and being home is a privilege sometimes. You know, I miss my bed. I just want to go home sometimes. But yeah, we get to do this for a living, and I feel like we take that for granted and we complain, but it really is something that's really special, and I'm going to remember for the rest of my life.
No, that's awesome. What do you think, PPA style versus kind of MLP? You said it's more fun, team atmosphere. I mean, do you like playing the PPAs?
Yeah, I definitely do. And I think that the competition in the PPAs is only getting better. And I feel like it's really fun to get to just obviously see where you're at and see where you're stacking up against players. But it's tricky with like the seedings and where you end up falling and your rankings. And that depends on kind of how your draw looks. So again, you have to have a couple of those lucky breaks to be able to get through. And for the people playing qualies and stuff, it's just a lot.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. So, but I do enjoy the PPAs. I think their events are really well put together. I think the level is really, it's night and day. If you look at the level a year ago and now, it's crazy how much has increased because people are actually dedicating full time to this. So
one of the things that I wrote, if you see me, I look at my phone, I'm just teeing up the next thing. So I'm not ignoring you, Mark.
Cheating.
But you know, one of the things that I'm sure you've heard a lot and stuff, just play style. Some of the things that you do, right? We talked about like the slice, using a lot of that backhand flick. Obviously, I study the game a lot, but I study men's more. But I do watch the women's as well. But you are one of the very few women that have a very consistent and lethal backhand flick. So where do you think that came from? And you know, I'm just wondering. I mean, I'm wondering if you had a one or two hander in tennis, or if it's just natural to you. Like, tell me about that.
For the shock of everyone, every time I say this, my best shot in tennis was my two-handed backhand.
Okay. All right. Well, we need to work on that on the court then. Mary or Mari, sorry.
Gosh, here we go again with
oh gosh.
No, you're good. You're good. It's I don't know why. Since I started playing pickleball I didn't watch any pro. I didn't watch anything about strategy. I was playing with amateurs. I just started playing.
And
it's just what I did.
Wow. No table tennis.
For fun, a lot.
Wow.
A lot for just with friends.
So you had some action there.
But I have a two-handed backhand in
ping pong. Wow. Okay.
So it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I think I had a very spinny tennis game. And I came to the net a lot. So I really like to volley. I served and volleyed more than the average girl. I chip and charged a lot. I used a lot of slices, especially on the forehand side. So there's a ton of pictures of me playing tennis, hitting the forehand slice, and it looks exactly like my pickleball one. So I think the spinny thing kind of transferred over very well. But the flick, to be honest, I don't know where it came from. I realized I have more wrist strength than I expected.
Wow, that's good to have now. Yeah,
right, for sure. So that's a good thing. And then obviously, when people told me like that shot's not common in women's, like you're one of the few that can do it, I started then I went to watch and pay attention to what the guys were doing, so I could take some of that magic and some of that creativity to hit that shot a little bit better.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Tell me about your slice. Mari, what do you think? And you know what? I haven't watched your recent matches, but like, you know, slices versus like two-handed backhand rolls. I'm talking about dinking off the bounce here.
Yeah.
What do you like? How do you make that decision? And what do you like to use more than the other?
So I think the first thing about slices, for some reason, when I came into pickleball, which was late 2022, slices were like, people were offended if you were slicing. They're like, this is really bad. Like, you're going to get killed if you slice. Like,
really?
People told me I shouldn't be slicing. And I was like,
on your backhand side, not forehand.
Everywhere.
Really? Okay.
They're like, why are you slicing your returns? Why are you slicing your transition?
Okay,
why are you slicing everything? And I was like, that's just what comes naturally to me. I continental grip, and I'm hitting my slices from both sides. Even like my drops, a little bit of slice, and people were like, you shouldn't be doing that. I was like, no one gave me a good reason.
Except Ben Johns did it all the time. They forgot about that part.
Exactly. And again, I do understand now that when I hit a return that's not good with slice, it does help people generate a lot more spin. So yes, I've developed that flat return that can kind of get me there whenever I'm having trouble. But especially in the women's game, I think slices are still very valuable.
Okay.
And when it comes to the dinking, I'm actually developing a two-handed backhand roll.
Good.
So what people don't know is that, I'm not that strong-minded that I'm like, no, I'm going to stick to only slicing here. I do love to slice, and I do plan on using it more too. But I don't want people getting used to my shot, so I want a little bit more variation in my game. So basically, if I go from a really low slice dink to a heavy topspin,
yes,
I feel like that's going to throw people off a lot, and not having the knowledge of what's coming next. I also am working on a two-handed backhand speed up off the bounce so that people I want people guessing all the time when they're playing against me. So that's the goal. It's just that, unfortunately, I don't have time to develop everything at once. So it's going to be a slow burn. Give me some time. But I do plan on developing all those different shots.
No, that's awesome. So two shots, or the shot you're working on today is two-handed topspin dinks.
Two-handed topspin dinks.
And you said speed ups.
And speed ups off the bounce.
Off the bounce.
And the third thing that I really am working on developing is my serve. We don't talk about this enough, but I think the serve is an extremely underrated part of the game, especially in women's. I think the guys go for their serves a little bit more.
Why do you think that is?
I think there was also this like thing back in the day that it was more of like you just put your serve in and play.
Well, that was a cross pickleball,
right?
But I'm saying, like, why do you think you said like the women's more or less? Like the guys go for it more. What do you think?
The guys are more prone to risk.
Okay. Oh yeah. They skydiving.
Right.
Like, yeah. Okay.
Are there like statistics on this?
Oh yes.
Like the guys are more likely to apply for like jobs that they're not qualified for. I don't know. Maybe like it's a risk thing.
So it might help in this case then.
Maybe.
Okay.
But I do believe that even missing a couple of serves, but like getting shorter returns because I'm forcing my serve has a long-term benefit. So
love it.
I really am working on pushing boundaries on my serve.
That's great. When did that click? When you first started, right? I'm sure were you kind of just getting your serve in?
So I tried to figure out. I was playing around with different grips because my grip in tennis was an Eastern forehand, right? Like the Eastern grip for the forehand. And when I first started, I was just holding continental and just kind of putting the serve in.
Okay.
And then I saw someone hit the crap out of a serve when I was playing against them.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, I can do that? So then I started hitting it hard with continental.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, oh man, there's only so much I can do here. So I started switching around. Obviously with these gritty paddles, you can get the ball to spin a ton and come back down.
Yeah.
And then I started messing around with some slice serving too. So trying to add some variation to it.
No, it's great. No, I saw you hitting some serves there. It looked pretty fast.
Yeah.
Pretty fast out there. So that's good. How much do you study? You know, I know you're doing some coaching stuff now, Mari, and we'll talk about that. But how much do you study the game, and what does studying the game look like from a pro? Because obviously I teach a lot, right? And I coach a lot. I also coach coaches. But what does studying for you look like as a pro, and you know, like how often do you do it?
I do it a lot. I think there's two types of studying. One is studying my own game. So studying myself, right? When I'm doing well, when I'm doing poorly. So watching my matches back, watching my practices back, and figuring out things that I can improve. It's painful. I'm not going to lie. It sucks to watch yourself. And I'm not the only person that thinks that. No. Have you ever do you watch yourself play?
I have, just because of content. But you know, it's funny for our intensives that we run, because I don't go by duper and stuff. Like I watch everyone's footage to place them in the right category and the right skill level. I always it's always funny because the players sending it in and they're like, oh, it wasn't my best game.
Right.
Or,
it's always like
it was really ugly, but no,
it's
everyone, you know, it's everyone.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So watching yourself is brutal, but it is very beneficial. So I do that. And the second thing is studying opponents, right? So especially someone that I haven't quite figured out on the court yet. So let's say I played against someone and I'm like, man, I really don't have their, like the spots that I should attack them figured out, or they kept getting me in the same situation here. Like, let me watch it back to understand so that next time I play them. And then when I haven't played someone, I want to watch to make sure I kind of have a strategy going into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my two types, is basically studying opponents, And then stealing things from opponents too. Like, come on. If someone does something really well, let me see what they're doing.
Yeah. No, I love that. Two things. 2 shots that you can steal right now, if from men's or women's side. Go. 2 shots.
I want Annalise backhand speed up off the bounce.
Okay. All right.
And I want. I'm thinking of a guy's serve.
Oh.
Like a deckle serve, something like that.
Deckle, maybe Kwongs. I don't know. There's a lot of good servers out there nowadays.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Maybe that's the 2 that immediately came to mind.
I got it. What are your favorite 2 players to watch?
Players to watch.
Yeah.
I think I love people that kind of cause chaos on the court and do things that are a little bit different. So I'll give you a guy and a girl.
Oh yeah, sure.
That works.
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay. On the men's side, and this is a hard question.
Is it? I mean, every question has been really easy, Mark.
One that I really liked watching, and I hope that he's back soon, Thomas Wilson, I really enjoyed watching. I think he had really good energy on the court and just came up with shots that are not super typical.
That was not what I was expecting. I love Thomas. All right.
That was a decent answer.
Yeah, I love that.
Approved. Okay, yeah, I really enjoyed watching Thomas. And then on the women's side... I really enjoy. I'll give you 2. I'll give you the twins. I really enjoy watching the Kawamotos play.
Kawamotos, yes.
And that's because the point's never over.
No.
It's really frustrating to play against them.
I would put them in almost the same category. Like I also put like Elise Jones in that category.
Elise is another one.
Just like players just somehow get the ball back.
Yeah,
every time.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I love that.
There you go.
Okay, awesome. So I want to talk about coaching though. You are getting more into coaching. What are you doing now? Like why don't you just update people? Like, what are you doing?
So coaching is something that I've always known I really enjoy. I did a lot of tennis coaching and I started teaching pickleball pretty early on when I was, I started playing. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Just like locally in Louisville, Kentucky. And I got really good feedback. I speak decently well and I like explaining things in detail and I can answer questions and I can usually fix technique pretty easily just because of my background in tennis.
Yeah.
So it's something that I just really enjoy seeing people succeed, right? Like if I teach you a shot or if I teach you a strategy and then you text me the next day saying, hey, I did that in the tournament, like it just gives me, joy to like see people succeed. So seeing others feel good about their game and feel like they learned something makes me really happy. It always has. So it's something that I've spent a lot of time. I did some teaching in Brazil too. I'm doing content in both English and Portuguese to try to help the expansion of the sport there.
Wow.
And then recently this year, I'm going to launch pretty much like my teaching tour. So I'm hoping to do at least 12 stops. That's the goal.
Okay.
For this year, at least once a month. Obviously, my main job at the moment is to be a pro pickleball player.
What does that look like though? Like are these kind of destination things? Are you planning them ahead? Like what does that look like?
So I'm actually trying to do them at tournaments.
Oh, okay.
So whether it's right before or right after. So I'm actually hosting my first one in Mesa this week.
Awesome.
So it'll be next week. It's I don't have the date.
Is it full?
It is not full yet. Okay. So if you're interested,
all right, maybe check it out. Maybe we'll put it in the description.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. So it's just, I'm going to do a variation depending on the club that's having me or the group that hires me. Sure. I can do obviously like women's double specific clinics, mixed doubles, or specific skills. Some people want to learn different spins. Some people want to focus on the first 4 shots.
Yeah.
Some people want to focus on transition is obviously a really big one, or whatever it might be. I'm very comfortable teaching the entire game at this point, and I can usually figure out what teaching style works for different people. So something I'm passionate about. Looking forward to doing it more.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I mean, obviously, the first time I heard about you, it was, I mean, I watch PPA, I think, more than MLP usually just because I'm so busy. But that we talked about it, that content that you did with Ed.
Right.
Shout out to Ed Jew, right? And it was kind of,
big fan of Ed.
Got a lot of views, right? People were like, okay, backhand slice, backhand flick by Mari. This is it.
This is it. She can teach us things. So that video, both those videos got really, really good feedback. And that's when I kind of started picking up a little bit of my own content to just explain different things, because I think from a pro player perspective is something that's not out there as much as it should be.
Yeah.
And yeah, something we talked about a little bit before we recorded too. You know, a lot of amateurs watch pro players and they want to copy exactly what we're doing, and it's hard. It's hard to copy exactly what we're doing. Yeah. So teaching you all different options of shots that can replace that. You know, oh, your wrist doesn't turn as much as mine to be able to do that backhand flick. Yeah. So maybe like a backhand roll is another good option that could work, and just things like that. So I hope to keep launching a lot more of that and give people more insights into what they can improve.
No, that's great. No, that's awesome. Not random question, along the same lines, but this is a challenging one a little bit. We'll see. Well, what do you think separates a good coach from a great coach? You know, because I saw you. I mean, we filmed some content out there, Mari, and you know, I do think you explain really well, and you do a good job, you know, speaking to the audience and relating with them. But what do you think separates that? I think
it's actually flexibility is one of the key ingredients there, because I think pickleball is an example of a sport that is nowhere near the end of its development.
Yes.
Right. So when I started playing tennis, the example here is that pretty much people have tennis figured out. Like, you know what you need to do to be good at tennis.
Yeah.
And yes, there's space for a little bit of innovation. Don't get me wrong, but there is a winning formula. You can't deny that, right? There is something that traditionally works, and the top players all have it.
Yeah.
And in pickleball, yes, there is a little bit of that, but I think there's a lot more flexibility. And what I've seen a lot of coaches do that I don't like is you have to do it this way.
It's one of my pet peeves.
Is it? Oh,
it is.
Man, we agree on another thing here. So the have to do it this way really is a problem. And I really don't like to hear that as a player too. You know, people come up to me and it's like, you have to stop doing this. It's like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I like a challenge. So yeah, I'm a little bit stubborn when it comes to that. But I think players need to see that there's different options and there's different solutions, and coaches need to see that too and be a little bit flexible with their students.
No, love that. Love that. How about this, Mari? We take a break and we, well, not a break, but I want to answer some questions.
Let's do it.
I want to pivot. There's a lot of you, and there's a lot of listeners that, you know, kind of like your friends that you're talking about.
Yep.
Send questions in, and how about we take a shot at it?
Well, let's try it. Let's see what we got.
All right. So here we go. We'll do a few from Larry Roberts.
All right, back in Kentucky.
From Kentucky.
I'm actually heading to Lexington next week.
Are you?
For a friend's wedding, yeah.
All right. Well, shout out to Lexington. Never been there. Never been to Kentucky. 4-0 player.
Kentucky. All right.
Jordan, I have seen. This happened to land on here. But this is really random.
It's
really crazy. I've seen your video on drilling the offensive lob. I would like to know if you have done a deeper dive into this video, into this shot that would include some live pro video emphasizing timing, opponents, positioning, leaning in, paddle position, etc. Certainly hiding the shot and stressing patience is important. For example, I've seen a good video of Mari Humberg. Now I apologize if you've already done a video on this. Okay. Any thoughts on offensive lob? You know what? This is a question straight for you, Mari.
That's wow. Okay. Yeah. So the offensive lob.
Do you do that a ton? I'm trying.
Not a ton at all.
Okay.
But because I'm not good at it, not because I don't want to. It's
something to add. Another thing.
There's so many. I mean, I have a long list of things I want to add. But I actually think that at the 4-0 level, it's easier to do it than at the pro level.
Oh, yeah,
so it might be easier for Larry than it is for me.
Okay.
So Larry, I think the biggest tip that I have for this is actually you should only lob when you're feeling like you're balanced in an offensive position. That's the number one mistake that I see from amateurs.
I like that.
If you're off balance or not well positioned, don't lob, because it's not going to be as good.
Yep.
And the second thing is, I mean, this should be a given, but people have a dominant hand and they have a backhand typically. Most people are not ambidextrous, okay?
Yeah.
So lob over their backhand.
Love it. Very simple advice. No, love that. Yeah, Mari, we got to get out there and we got to drill some offensive lobs.
Offensive lobs. Yeah, I'm gonna add that, and I'll shout you out when I do it.
You know what though? Seriously, like, you know, I'm not saying the difference between men and women, but women are just naturally shorter, right? So it's just I think
also
women
move slower.
Well, women's doubles, I've seen a lot of pro women be really effective with lobs. So you just talked about the Kawamotos.
Right. And I mean, there's like Susanna Barr is really good at lobbing. Yeah. I know Anna Bright's added a little bit more lobbing. There's a lot of that going on. Elise Jones loves to lob.
Hey, there you go. Great question. Thank you, Larry. Hopping into the next one from Jerry K. Oh, where's this at?
That's a great question. I'm not fully familiar.
Okay. All right. You only been
I moved there. Okay. Doesn't mean I know the entire state.
From Ponce Inlet, Florida. I don't know. 3-0. As much as I try, softly ? Hitting drops and resets remains a problem. They usually travel too far and a bit too high. I feel like I'm not easing grip pressure, or is it something else is hurting my ability to do this? Please help. Now, before you answer, Mari, obviously, we can't see what their technique looks like. We can't see, but so we're generally answering the question as best as we can. So there are drops, resets traveling too far, too high. Obviously, very common thing.
Absolutely.
Shoot.
I think there's two problems that are very, very common for this. I think the first thing is resets and drops are actually shots that you have to hit a little bit closer to your body. And I see a lot of amateurs trying to stretch their arm out.
Yep.
I feel like I'm being tested. I'm passing the test at the moment. I think making sure that your elbow's a little bit more bent and closer to your body so you're in a very comfortable position to be able to reset that ball. Yes, it also is about the grip pressure, but I wouldn't worry too much about like figuring out grip pressure. That comes kind of naturally. So hitting it close to your body. And the second thing is you have to be in an athletic stance. I mean, I see people standing up straight all the time, and you're just never going to be able to reset perfectly with that. Yeah, don't watch Ben Johns do it. That guy's pretty good. He can do it from any position, from any different, like, however he is, he'll be able to do it. But at a lower level, you have to be able to bend your knees and get under that ball so you're more comfortable to hit it.
No, love it. Couldn't have answered it better. The last thing, or I would just add on to that, you said stance, just being stable in general.
Yeah,
like stability on a reset. The more unstable you are, it's going to be very, very difficult. So Definitely. Thank you, Jerry K. We're hopping on to Steven. Oh, from here, from Arizona, 4-0. We're moving up the ladder here. When we are serving, if we don't quickly get to the non-volley zone, I find we are mostly unsuccessful in scoring the point. Some people say you have to get to non-volley zone as fast as you can, while others say you have to move up methodically and don't rush. For me, I think I need to get to the non-volley zone quickly versus methodically, but because I have not mastered the reset. Thoughts, Mari?
So I think this goes back to what we were just talking about with the flexibility.
Yes.
What's his name here? Let's go back.
Steven.
All right, Steven. Yeah. So I think you need to give yourself some grace here and let yourself be a little bit more flexible. It is not a full-on answer or another. Okay, it's going to depend on the situation. If you hit a really good drop, you're going to be able to move in pretty quickly, but that's going to depend on the quality of your drop.
Yeah.
If you don't hit a really good shot, you're going to have to move in more methodically and have to wait for that. Now, the number one tip that I'm going to have for you is you've got to figure out that reset. That is something that you're not going to be able to move past this level without. So I think that's what I got for Steven.
No, love that. What are you looking for, Mari, as your, and let me ask you this, because I do it in my game sometimes. I do different approaches sometimes. Sometimes I like to, if I have a lot of energy, I like to drop and then be really aggressive and try to find a transition high ball. But sometimes I'll just work my way in. Right. So like, do you do that? Do you switch back and forth, or you kind of naturally one or the other?
It really depends on the quality of my drops and the quality of my opponent's fourths.
Okay.
Which is something that we got something coming for that. But I think it depends on a few factors there. But yes, I do switch back and forth as well.
Okay. All right. Great question. Marianne.
It's close to my name. My name is actually Mariana.
Okay. Yeah, she's actually trained with me before. So shout out to you. From Boston, 3-5. What are the 3 most common errors that you see in 3-5-ish rec play?
The 3 most common errors.
I mean, you've seen, there's so much, but 3 on the top of your head, Mari, that like you see a lot of amateurs making. Three main ones. Okay,
I think one that's very simple, but just basically watching the ball when you're not hitting it and not moving at all. So just standing there when your partner's hitting the ball and not positioning yourself properly.
Okay.
I feel like that's a really big one.
Yeah. So you're talking about like shading or just following the ball. You mean that kind of thing?
Correct. Okay. Just like moving with you just basically stand there until the ball comes to you.
Yep.
The second thing is attacking balls that you shouldn't attack. I feel like they just they make wrong choices on when to attack versus when to reset or when to dink.
And what's like the most common attack that you see that they shouldn't be attacking?
Like a fully low to high ball that they're not well balanced.
Yeah.
And and they want to attack. And let's see, maybe the third one is not keeping their paddle up.
Oh, love it.
That's
unless you're JW, I guess, right?
Yeah, people are like, but JW does it. Don't copy the bends, the JWs. That's exceptions, right? That's not the rule. So, yeah, I think keeping your paddle up is super, super important for when the attacks do come, you're able to counter it.
No, I love it. Let's thank you, Mari. Let's do 2 more here. Let's do 2 more. From Ken, Rockwall, Texas, 4-0. What strategy changes do you see coming in 2025 for? It's interesting. 3-5 to 4-5 players. You know what? I'm going to extend that question.
Okay.
Because I had it later on in my notes. But the game's currently and constantly evolving. Mari, what strategy changes or what shots? What do you foresee? I guess at that level, but also in the pro level, as you kind of see, how do you see the game changing as where it is right now?
Well, the paddles have gotten a lot hotter. The ball's moving a lot faster. I think it's going to continue to get faster until that limit, which I don't know what that limit is, hits, and then there will be a little bit of adaptation to the game again. I think that actually at the 3-5 to 4-5 level, which is what he asked, I think the big difference is going to be the quality of the transition and the dinks is going to make a huge difference. Or that's basically what's going to evolve in that game. Right now, it's basically whoever gets up to the kitchen line is winning more points typically at those levels. Yeah. And I think that level is going to increase a little bit, and whoever gets up to the kitchen line with more quality shots, hopefully that's what it's evolving to, is going to be able to attack first and win the points.
Okay.
But also going towards a more faster direction.
Do you like, so, you know, I ask a lot of pros this, like, because some pros like it speeding up or slowing down. Now, you've only been playing 2.5 years. See, I've been in this game and I've seen it change and evolve.
Right.
Would you like to see the paddles, just personally, soften up a little bit, or do you like the speed?
Well, I think it's two completely different train of thoughts. I think the coolest part about pickleball is the strategy.
Yeah.
Is like how many options you have.
Yeah.
And I think power takes that away a little bit. So I would prefer if the paddles went a little bit back to softer.
Yeah.
Or the ball. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do this, right? But yeah, I think it would be more skill involved rather than just bang, bang and see who wins the point first.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you're a spinster. So let's bring the spin back,
Let's bring the spin back.
Okay, last one. Hey, Jude. Okay, I don't know if that's even a real name there, but from Centennial, Colorado, 3-5. You have a paddle here on the table here, but let's see. Can you recommend a paddle comparison guide and other than a sponsor that is objectively okay? I don't know. So let's without even talking about brands, what would you know? I'm sure you get this question a lot, Mari. Yeah. Like, what kind of paddle should I use? I need something with more power. How do you recommend things to just players that you come across? So
typically, do you come from a racket sport background is typically my first question. If you come from a racket sport background, you're typically going to like a longer handle because you might be more comfortable with the two-handed backhand, for example. A lot of tennis players like that two-handed backhand space in the paddle. So that's the first question that I ask. I also ask what level they're playing at because I think that the higher level you get to, the more okay it is for you to play with a paddle that is hotter because you can control it better. I don't like seeing 3-0 players play with a paddle that's super poppy because I feel like they have zero control over what's happening.
Yeah.
And they don't learn it because the paddle does the work for them and generates the power for them. So I typically recommend based on what, at what moment in time are you in your game and what's your objective? Like, do you want to get better or do you want to beat your neighbor because they've been beating you and making fun of you? Like some people want like an immediate win. Some people want to like actually get better long term. Yeah, so what are your goals? And then from there, I'll suggest it.
Okay. Love it. All right. Here's a quick one. What's one shot or strategy that's underrated in pickleball right now? Or maybe something that doesn't get talked about enough? Actually, we did a video on that. You can mention that, or you could come up with something else. But what do you think, Mari?
I'll go ahead and say that I think the fourth shot is a shot that's not talked about enough. I think
so why? Make your case. Make your case for the fourth shot.
I'm defending the fourth shot. I feel like I'm going to court about this. Like, I want to talk to everyone about it. Everyone talks about the third shot.
Yeah.
Why does no one talk about the fourth shot? It is just as important, right? You can only score points on your serve, and that's why people want to talk about the third shot, because when you're serving, you get to hit a third shot.
Yeah.
When you're returning, you get to hit a fourth shot.
Yep.
But if you hit a good fourth shot, it makes it to where your opponents can score a lot less. So creating pressure on that fourth shot is something that I think is extremely underrated in pickleball.
No, I love it. And the way you explained it, video coming out soon. Make sure you stay tuned for that. But you were talking about just basically fourth, sixth, eighth, and then as your opponent are coming in, and I thought about that, and I was like, yeah, wait. Don't forget about the even numbers,
Don't forget about the even numbers.
So everyone, the serve, everyone talks about the odd numbers, but no, the even numbers are critical, because you're right. The quicker you can win points, put pressure, the quicker you can actually get back on serve.
Right, and then you feel a lot less pressure on your serve, right?
Yeah. Let's take a break and look at this paddle here. Mari, you're actually are you just signed, or what can we say? What's the status of your
recently signed?
Okay.
Correct. I'm wearing all my Adidas gear
with
over
Adidas.
here.
So what do we got here?
With the new paddles. So there's actually 3 different paddles available at the moment. Actually, not available to us. Sorry about that. The pros.
You and Federico.
Me, Federico, and Rafa are the 3 Adidas pros. But this one is, I think there's basically 3 different styles right now. The first one is a little bit softer and very gritty, helps with a ton of spin, very good control.
Okay.
This one is the middle one, so it's a little bit more poppy, still very gritty.
Is this the one you were using today?
Correct. Okay. This is the one I was using today.
Got it.
And the third one is a lot more poppy, so a little bit less control. There's essentially 3 different tiers at the moment.
So that one's too much for you. You like this one?
I'm learning. Actually, my goal is to use that one.
Okay.
But I need to dial it in.
Dial it in.
Yeah, even for us, I know that a lot of players that recently buy paddles, they're like, oh, it doesn't feel like my last one. It's like sometimes it takes weeks to adapt to paddles. So give yourself some time to be able to adapt.
Longer, I would say.
Right. Yeah. I mean, weeks can be a long time depending on how many weeks we put in there,
Okay, right? You're right. Weeks. Okay. Yeah, it could be like 52 weeks.
It's a full year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Adidas is coming into the space, making a very strong case. And I think, I really like the paddle. Obviously, changed paddles and adapting to this new paddle, but it's been great to work with the team. Obviously, my 2 schools were sponsored by Adidas, so it's pretty special to me that I'm back with the Adidas brand. So
it's awesome.
Really cool for me. I mean, it's always been my favorite, like with shoes and clothes and all that too. So
yeah, I used to always. Now I don't know why I switched to. I'm wearing Wilsons now, but I remember when I was playing tennis, you used to always love the Barricades. I used to wear.
They're incredible. They're now the ones that I'm using are the Uber Sonics. They switched names, but they're incredible.
All right.
Awesome. Come on, Adidas, get him some shoes.
Shout out to Adidas. Here, let's. I just want to take a look at this real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Give me that little. Okay.
This is the cutest little tool.
So we got little Adidas. What's this called?
The metal bone, and that one's the
metal
PPA or the. What does it say here? Let's see. The PP honeycomb, low density.
Okay. All right. She's still learning, everyone.
I'm still learning the names.
But no, this is cool because you get to take these out, and they're little weights here. Maybe put heavier ones in potentially.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. You can take them off, and then obviously you can still put lead tape if you're one of those people that kind of like specific spots on the paddle. But these are adjustable, so it's pretty cool. You can just kind of take them off and then put them back on if you want to.
No, that's awesome.
And it's a cute little paddle tool. So
that's pretty innovative. I love it.
It's pretty cool.
All right. Like well, shout out to Adidas. Selkirk, thank you for what you do. Got to shout out mine. Speaking of attacking, before the next question, Mari, you have a lot of spin on your shots and attacking. You talk about attacking fourths and sixths like that. We have a free attacking masterclass that you guys should check out here.
Ooh.
So I actually made this video specifically on like what shots to attack and things like that. But nice. As the game's getting more aggressive, gonna need it. Need it.
Beat the rest of the crew to get to that. You gotta learn the attacks first.
Yeah. So go to attackmasterclass.com if you want to check that out. Few more, Mari. Thank you for joining.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
It's been good. It's been awesome.
It's nice to do these in person, right? I feel like it's a lot more personal than doing the Zoom thing.
Yeah, I've we have never done Zoom yet. and I've always had
awesome.
like people in person, and I could easily do it, but since I haven't done it yet, it's a technological thing. But also, it's like, you know what? I'll just, if whatever pros want to come.
But we come to Mesa, and I mean, there's this tournament, and then there was the Tucson one.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So thank you.
Good location, absolutely.
All right, one match in your career that you'll never forget.
One match in my career.
And why?
And why?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I talked about my first tournament ever. That's a big one. But I'll talk about another one. I think it was actually in Mesa last year. So 1 year ago.
Okay.
1 year ago.
I don't remember if I was there or not. Okay. So Mesa, PPA.
First time playing with Georgia. We won our first round. We beat Lacey and Irina in the second round, which is a great team.
Mm-hmm.
Beat Lucy and Callie in the quarters.
Another good team. And the match that I will never forget is the semifinal. Okay.
My first time playing on center court for doubles.
Wow.
And against Annalie and Catherine.
Okay. What was how'd you guys do there?
We lost. But I'm never going to forget this match because it was a really important moment for me of like...
No, that's awesome.
I feel like that's the first time that I felt like I was playing a professional sport. Like I was...
Is it because of the crowd, or is like what was it? Like
it was just the prep, it just all felt really real in that moment of like, I'm back and I'm competing against the best, and I really want to be good at this sport and make an impact here. So it was special to get to share that with Georgia. Shout out to Georgia for playing with me, because I mean, it was she was partnerless right before the tournament, and I messaged her and I said, hey, I can come if you need a partner. She's like, yeah, let's do it. So that was a special match, even though we lost, and we ended up getting bronze, winning that next one. But
that's awesome.
Unforgettable match.
Okay, cool. What do you love to do off the court? We've heard all this stuff on the court. What are you into, Mari? Like, what do you do spare time? Like,
Yeah, I'm a big TV person. I know that a lot of pro athletes aren't. Guilty pleasure is definitely reality TV. Love it.
Okay.
But I watch a lot of like shows. Like my favorite is probably New Girl. I love Suits, Friends.
I would not know anything about this.
Like, see, not a TV person. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a big fan of just like laying down on my bed or on the couch and just like relaxing, watching TV at the end of the day. Or sports. I love watching basketball and tennis are probably my two favorites.
Like NBA?
And soccer. Yeah, I do watch a lot of... I don't watch a lot of college sports for some reason.
Yeah.
But, and soccer, just growing up in Brazil. But yeah, I love playing other sports too. It's just I don't have...
Have you played padel?
Yeah.
How is that?
I like it a lot. It's a problem because, I mean, you've probably seen like the pro guys are kind of obsessed. They go and like play when they're at tournaments and stuff too, after playing pickle. And I just know that I would, like, if I started playing more, I would like it a lot, and I should probably focus on pickle right now. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think every racket sport I've played, I enjoyed. Like I love badminton, I love ping pong, table tennis.
I've played every racket sport, but the one that was really tough for me, I just didn't get is racquetball.
Racquetball's tricky.
It's so hard, and that's why I was thinking like padel is tough because it's a little bit, but racquetball is just like all.
Racquetball doesn't have a net; it's against the.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously an opponent, but the wall.
Yeah. I just can't. It's so hard to track the ball for me.
It's really fast. Yeah, for sure. But I enjoy racket sports in general, so yeah, padel's fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. I don't know. Any final thoughts? Mari, now that I have you.
No, I'm just honestly, thank you again for having me. I think hopefully people enjoy listening a little bit about my story and obviously some advice that we have here for the players. But I just genuinely am happy to be here. That's kind of where I'm at. So thank you again for having me.
Okay, you're welcome. Where can people find you? I know you have your camps and stuff like that, and also follow you on your socials and stuff. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so I actually. Don't go judge me, but I built my own website just in my free time. I enjoy tech stuff. So it's marihumberg.com. It's there. I try to put all the information I got in there. And then I also have mostly posts on Instagram. It also shares to Facebook. So marihumberg.pb. That's where all my stuff is. So
All right, Mario, it's great to have you. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it when anyone comes out
Absolutely.
here. I know it takes time and effort, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so comment below if you really enjoyed having Mario on. Maybe we'll have her on again after she gets some golds. Huh?
Hopefully.
Yeah, and thank you, Mario, again.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
thank you, everyone. We'll see you next episode.